Hello everyone, I'm Ramesh Damani welcoming you to Antique 2016. May I request Mr. Dilip Shanghvi to please join us on the panel. May I also request the chairman of the Godrej group, Mr. Godrej, to join us on the panel. To round off my panel, may I request Sanjay Nayar, formerly of Citibank and now of KKR, CEO of KKR, to join us. I'll start with you, Mr. Shanghvi. I was reading about the pharmaceutical industry before I came here, and I read about the Hutch-Waxman Act, which basically started the generic revolution in '84. As a young entrepreneur at that time, did you understand the impact of what the Hutch-Waxman was about to unleash?
No, I don't think I estimated the what you call impact to an extent where, let's say, 80% of the market, by which is what it is right now, is already genericized, or the 80% of prescription in the US are now generic prescription. I don't think I estimated that, but I clearly saw that as an opportunity because it allowed companies to compete with investments which were cost effective and economically made it viable to participate in the market.
So you started your business according to folklore with 10,000 rupees, and today you build one of the most successful companies in India, perhaps even the world. But do you sense we are on the cusp of a similar opportunity today in the pharmaceutical sector? Are you as excited today as you were, say, 20, 30 years back?
Yeah, I think if I see opportunity ahead, there are three key drivers for success in pharma business. Your ability to manage innovation, your ability to execute faster than your competitors in terms of product registration, and your ability to maintain consistent supply chain. So these are three issues that if you are able to manage more competitively compared to your, let's say, competition, you will do well. So I see Indian companies and I see that their ability to execute on cost in terms of speed, in terms of maintaining supply chain, we seem to be doing very well. And that is the reason why I think consistently year after year our share in global industry is continuing to grow. And I see that some of the Indian companies are also learning to manage innovation more effectively. And that I see as an important inflection point, is that today, let's say, a new drug, when it comes to market, it costs $2.5–3 billion. I mean, that's the average cost that you're talking about when you bring a new drug to the market. I mean, it doesn't cost so much for every company, but it's the failure of other companies which increases this cost. And I see that as an important opportunity for Indian companies to, what you call, significantly benefit from. And if I see both at Sun as well as I see some of the new startups and companies which are bringing new technology and new thinking in this area, I see that in next 10 years we should have at least a few companies with new drugs in the global market. And that will then usher in the new transition, and then Indian companies can truly participate in the global market.
I'll take that up, sir, but you've always said, in the few interviews that you've given, you've said that there are constraints to innovation management in India. Can you say what are the major constraints you find that Indian companies are not as innovative as you'd like them to be?
I didn't understand the question.
You said in some interviews that there are constraints to innovation in India. Is it the patent law? Is it the pricing law?
What I have said is that there is a reason why there is less innovation in India, because historically we've never valued or paid a premium for innovative thinking. So all of us tend to focus on trying to do what others have done and done successfully, because then the risk of failure is much less. So now that the patent laws in India have changed, I see that that will bring in ability to create new innovative thinking. I also see many people who worked and succeeded abroad coming back and investing in innovative products.
You also said, sir, that there should be special courts for patent litigation. Special courts. Is there any movement in that area?
I think what I have said is that patent litigation in India is something which jurisprudence is not set, and judiciary is not as familiar with patent laws, technical issues, and its implication on commercial operation. So I think there is a need, and like maybe in Germany, to set up dedicated patent courts so that you have the expertise available to interpret complex technical issues and create jurisprudence around what is protected, what is not protected, so that it's easy for everybody to operate.
Are you hopeful this will happen in the next few years?
I think the way in which I see the government's thinking about focusing on improving ease of doing business, I definitely feel that should happen.
Let me ask Mr. Godrej now. So you've been the biggest, everyone knows you say GST, you want GST. But if I gave you a choice, GST, bankruptcy code, significant labor reform, privatization of PSU, what would you pick?
Oh, definitely GST.
Why, sir?
Because it will add 1.5 to 2 percentage points to our GDP growth rate. The other things are, of course, very good and will help growth, but nothing, I can't think of any reform in the near past or the future that can help as much as GST. And even in other countries, reforms of this sort have been extremely useful. When China went into a VAT system in the 1990s, it added tremendously to their growth rate.
Sir, Indian emerging markets generally have been accused of crony capitalism. Do you feel that the Modi government has struck some blow against crony capitalism?
Yeah, definitely. I think also against corruption at high levels. Corruption levels are definitely, to my mind, considerably down, and crony capitalism is definitely down.
Whatever the political powers that we want, the bureaucracy runs at its own pace. Do you think the bureaucratic mindset is ready to move away from the scratching your backs, crony capitalism that we've seen?
Yeah, that is an issue. I think we inherited the British bureaucratic system, which has not served us extremely well. But I think there's some change there too. But you're right, just because the political system has decided to change something, bureaucracy won't change overnight. But I think there will be improvements.
How do you bring about the change? How do we attack the bureaucracy? What is needed?
Well, it's simple. Have less regulation.
Sir?
Have less regulation. The bureaucrat comes into play only when you have a regulation. And we have far too many regulations. We need to reduce them. Many states have reduced regulations quite considerably, and they tend to do much better once that is done. But to really get bureaucracy out of the place, we have to reduce regulation, and that can be done.
The annual exercise that we all do and the market looks for is the budget, What would you like to see? I mean, as a Indian industrialist, what would you like to see in it?
No, I think there's a lot can be done in the budget for promoting growth. Because macroeconomically, as we've been discussing, we are in good shape. And so not much needs to be done to improve the macroeconomic situation. What needs to be done is to promote growth. For example, my view is, if the finance minister were to considerably raise, not marginally, the slabs of income tax, say the 0 slab, the 10% slab, 20% slab, that would put a lot of income in the hands of consumers who would then spend it, which would lead to higher collection of indirect taxes, corporate taxes.
A consumption tax.
Most of it would be made up. And so you have to take a leap of faith with growth-oriented policies. I'm just explaining one. There are many in different industrial sectors which could help. Unfortunately, we don't tend to think in those terms.
So, but there's a lot of talk in the market, and maybe you can share your 2 bits on that, that long-term capital gains is going to be reintroduced. Do you have a view on that?
You mean for
stocks? Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, I think this would not be a good time. It's a question of whether, and now I'm not an expert on that. I think stock market experts need to decide. I suppose if you restore capital gains tax on stocks, it would be with removing for the share transaction.
STT, yeah.
I don't know what it's called. Now, which is better in the long run is difficult for me to tell. But this would be a very bad time to do such a thing. Because I think part of the reason why the market has gone down in January is because of such rumors. Now,
Right.
if you have a rumor like that, what you would do is you'll sell your stocks
In advance of the tax coming.
maybe part of it even buy back some of that same stock you have sold. So I don't think talking about such things in advance, etc., is a good situation. I don't think this would be the right time to make change.